The slap echoed across the quad like a gunshot, silencing the cheering crowd. Beckett's cheek burned red under the stadium lights. His eyes locked on mine, wide with shock and something deeper, betrayal. "You think this is all fake, Elias? After everything?" I froze, my hands still stinging from the impact. The fake smiles we'd plastered on for weeks crumbling like wet paper. The Pride Week rally, our big, scripted finale, had been meant to end with confetti and cheers. Not this. Not me, unraveling in front of 500 undergrads from the University of Michigan. The crisp fall air thick with the scent of dying leaves and unspoken truths. Started as a joke, or at least that's what we told ourselves. Beckett Hayes and I, Elias Rivera, had been roommates since freshman year in the cramped doubles of East Quad. He was the golden boy from some suburb outside Chicago. Lacrosse captain, poli-sci major with a laugh that could disarm a room, and eyes the color of Lake Huron on a stormy day. Me? I was the theater kid from Detroit, scraping by on scholarships, hiding my queerness behind sarcasm and stage makeup. We clicked because we were opposites. He, the straight-A jock who quoted Whitman like it was casual chit-chat. Me, the dreamer who turned every late-night smoke break into a monologue about escaping the Rust Belt. That spring, when the campus LGBTQ+ Alliance begged for volunteers to co-lead Pride Week, we were broke and bored. "What if we fake it?" Beckett had said one night, sprawled on our futon with a six-pack of Labatt Blue warming between us. "Pretend we're the power couple. Draw a crowd. Make it epic." His grin was infectious, the kind that made you forget the world was grinding you down. I laughed it off at first, me, the closeted mess, playing boyfriend to the guy every sorority girl whispered about. But then he leaned in, eyes sparkling with that reckless energy, and said, "Come on, Eli. It'll be like improv. And hey, free t-shirts." We said yes. What could go wrong? It was just a week. Workshops on allyship, a drag brunch, that rally to cap it off. We'd hold hands in public, share inside jokes on the mic, steal kisses for the gram. Harmless theater. But from the jump, it felt charged, like we'd lit a match in a room full of dry tinder. Day 1. The welcome mixer in the Michigan Union. I remember the way his palm felt against mine, warm, calloused from stick grips, steady in a way I'd never known. We stood on stage, arms linked, announcing the schedule to a sea of rainbow flags and skeptical faces. "Pride isn't just parties," Beckett boomed, his voice carrying that Midwestern drawl, all earnest vowels. "It's owning your story. Elias and I, we're proof you can build something real out of the mess." The crowd hooped, but my heart hammered. His thumb brushed my knuckles, accidental-like, and I swear the room tilted. Offstage, it blurred. We'd rehearse lines in our room, him shirtless after practice, me cross-legged on the floor with scripts. "Say it like you mean it," he'd tease, pulling me up for a demo hug that lingered too long. I'd catch myself tracing the freckles on his collarbone, inhaling the clean sweat of him, and pull back with a joke about method acting. He never pushed, never questioned. But those nights, when the campus quieted and an arbor streetlights hummed through our window, we'd talk. Really talk. About his dad, the ex-Marine who called from Naperville every Sunday to grill him on grades and girls. About my mom, waitressing doubles in Corktown, mailing care packages of Little Caesar's hot sauce because she knew I hated the cafeteria slop. "You're braver than you think, Eli," he'd murmur once, our knees touching under the desk lamp. "Coming out in a place like this? Detroit tough." By midweek, the pretense cracked. The drag brunch turned into us tag-teaming a Q&A, fielding questions from wide-eyed freshmen about how we met. Beckett ad-libbied. He rear-ended me in the parking lot behind Dojo's, literally. Spilled his entire soy latte on my dash. But damn if that wasn't the best crash of my life. The room erupted. I played along, bumping his shoulder, but inside, it stung. Because what if it was real? What if I wanted it to be? That's when the conflict crept in, slow as Lake Michigan fog. Rumors started, whispers in the halls about Beckett's ex, that sorority girl from high school who'd transferred to state. I'd seen her at a tailgate once, all blonde waves and easy confidence, laughing at his arm around her waist. He swore it was ancient history, but then came the texts. Late nights, his phone buzzing while we rehearsed, a slow dance for the rally opener. I'd pretend to sleep, ear pressed to the pillow, catching fragments. Miss you too. Yeah, it's complicated here. Complicated. Like us. I confronted him on Thursday, after a panel on intersectionality where we tag-teamed a story about overcoming family pushback. Mine real, his improvised. We were in the Arboretum, golden hour painting the maples fire orange, the Huron River murmuring like it knew our secrets. Who's she, Beck? The one lighting up your screen. My voice came out sharper than I meant, jealousy twisting like a bad prop knife. He stopped, leaves crunching under his sneakers, and for a second his face went blank. That athlete's mask, all focus and no cracks. Then it shattered. Sarah? Eli, it's nothing. Casual. She gets it, the distance, the schedule. He raked a hand through his hair, the one I'd started dreaming about. This us. It's the event, right? The role. The role. It hit like a body check. All those touches, the whispers, the way he'd look at me during panels like I was the only one in the room. It was lines, blocking, applause. I nodded, throat tight, and we walked back in silence, the air between us heavy as the coming storm clouds. But that night, in the dark, he rolled over and slung an arm across my chest, mumbling something about nightmares. I didn't move, couldn't. Friday's workshops were torture. We led a session on coming out stories, our hands brushing over the projector cord, each accidental graze a spark. By evening, the rally loomed, our grand finale, scripted with a choreographed, proposal bit to symbolize commitment in the face of hate. Beckett had written it. Him on one knee, me accepting with a kiss on the cheek. Symbolic, safe, but symbols lie. As we prepped backstage in Hill Auditorium, the crowd's roar filtering through the curtains, he pulled me aside. Eli, about earlier Sarah's done. Texted her it's over for good. This week's got me thinking. His voice trailed, eyes searching mine, that blue-gray depth pulling me under. Thinking what? That the lines had blurred? That the improv had turned us into something unscripted? I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But doubt is a Midwestern winter, relentless, bone deep. Don't, Beck. Not now. Let's just nail this. The rally exploded with energy. Flags waving, a cappella group belting Born This Way. The quad packed under strings of Edison bulbs. We took the stage arm in arm, the script unfolding like clockwork. Speeches on visibility, on the fights still ahead. Stonewall echoes in every chant. Then the dance. Us swaying to an acoustic cover of Wonderwall. His hand at the small of my back, warm through my button-down. The crowd awed. My pulse thundered. For a heartbeat, it was real. The world narrowing to his breath on my neck, the faint stubble grazing my temple. The proposal bit. He dropped to one knee, pulling a fake ring from his pocket, a gaudy plastic thing from the dollar store. Elias Rivera, will you keep pretending with me? The line was meant to loop back to our meet cute, a wink at the farce. But his voice cracked, eyes shining under the lights, and when I pulled him up, our faces inches apart, I didn't stop at the cheek. I kissed him, full, desperate, tasting salt and rain on the wind. The crowd lost it. Whistles, screams, phones flashing. But Beckett pulled back, eyes wild. Eli, what the hell? Not the script. Off book. And in that split second, as confetti rained down like judgment, I saw it. The fear, not of the kiss but of what it meant. That he'd lied not about Sarah, but about us. She'd been his safety net, the straight alibi for a guy too scared to name the pull he'd felt all along. The betrayal wasn't her. It was him holding back, letting me fall while he hedged. That's when I slapped him. The quad went dead silent, then erupted in chaos. Gasps, murmurs rippling like aftershocks. Beckett touched his cheek, red blooming, but he didn't swing back, just stared, chest heaving. You think this is all fake, Elias? After everything. Everything. I choked, voice breaking over the mic, broadcasting my shatter to every corner of campus. You fed me lines while you texted her. While I started believing it. Tears hot, crowd blurring into a kaleidoscope of judgment. Friends frozen, strangers gaping. This was pride, damn it, supposed to be liberation, not my personal implosion. He stepped closer, ignoring the chaos, his hand finding mine despite the sting. It wasn't lines. Not for weeks. Sarah was the fake, the cover I kept because admitting this terrified me. You terrify me, Eli. In the best way. His whisper cut through the roar, raw as a confession in a confessional. The crowd hushed, sensing the shift from performance to pulse. I yanked away, storming off stage into the shadows of the quad, rain starting to spit from the November sky. Footsteps pounded behind him, relentless. Elias, wait! I whirled under a lamppost, downpour soaking us through. Why? So you can rehearse your exit speech? We're done directing this shitshow. But he didn't stop. Grabbed my arm, pulled me close, the slap's echo forgotten in the torrent. No, I'm done pretending. With you, it's real, the talks, the touches, the way you make this place feel like home. I love you, you idiot. Slap me again if you have to. But hear me. The words hung, heavier than the rain. Love. Not scripted, not staged. Just us, drenched and human. The city lights haloing his silhouette. I searched his face. That earnest boy from the burbs, finally dropping the mask. And in the flood of it all, the betrayal's sting softened. Not gone, but woven into something truer. Forgiveness, maybe. Or the start of it. I didn't slap him again. Instead, I kissed him, rain-slick, trembling, the quad fading to a distant hum. No crowd, no scripts, just Beckett's arms around me, solid as the Michigan earth, and the quiet promise that some stories rewrite themselves. We didn't lead another event that week. Hell, we barely left our room, talking through the wreckage, unpacking the lies we'd told ourselves. His dad called the next Sunday. Beckett answered on speaker, voice steady. No girls, Dad, but there's someone. His name's Elias. The line went quiet, then cracked. As long as he treats you right, son. My mom, when I spilled it over burnt diner eggs, just hugged me tight. Me, Joe, you deserve the real deal. Always have. Pride Week ended in headlines. You Mitch rally turns raw. Fake romance goes real. But we tuned it out. Walked the diagram hand in hand. No pretense. The autumn wind whispering approval. It wasn't fairy tale perfect. Trust rebuilds slow, like a Rust Belt revival. But in the mess, the conflict, the hurt, the rain-soaked truth, we found our rhythm. Not as leads in someone else's play, but as us. Flawed, fierce, finally free.